So guys, as per last video, we are trying to take a $2,000 account to a $10,000 account and backtesting, doing this by backtesting my price action strategy. Now, this is not an account flip video. This is simply showing how I can apply high risk on a smaller account using my price action strategy or just trading price action in general to try grow account using high risk. So it's just a high risk account and that is the goal. If you watched 2 videos ago, we actually ended up growing the account to I think about 5,000 something plus and then took a loss and it brought our account back down to 4,200. So I'm hoping in this video I can end it and we can do some madness and basically almost more than double the account if possible. But I'm not going to take any too risky setup. Yeah, this is all risk, but I'm not going to take too risky setups. I don't want to blow the account. But I'm hoping to finish it in this video because it's a little bit boring, to be honest, and I don't like trading like this high risk. I think that if you can get yourself out of that situation, then it's not healthy long term, you know, so you should do it. So definitely don't advise against high risk trading, but I just want to show, you know, what you can do if you have consistency, and I can show it in a short amount of time by showing you in this backtesting software. So that being said, let's get straight into the video. So as always guys, and I must say it, can we please help the YouTube algorithm? Please like and subscribe the video. I can't tell you how much that actually helps and how much I appreciate it. And if you're new here, subscribing is really greatly appreciated. It's a nice free way to give back for this content that I hope that helps you guys, right? And that's why I put it out, to try help people who want to watch this. So it's a very easy way to give back for free, and it's just clicking one button and leaving a like. So, and you know, if you have comments, leave them down below. Also, I'm becoming active on Instagram, so please be sure to follow me and don't follow any other account because that is not me. I only have the account that I'm going to link, and I do have one more account, but that doesn't matter. But follow the account that I link. But yeah, that's basically what I want to say, to be honest. But yeah, if you have any questions, comment down below. And if you want to go into depth with more questions or want to see daily analysis, please feel free to join my free groups down below. So that being said, let's tell you guys where we're at. So on the weekly time frame, you can obviously see that, you know, we're approaching this weekly resistance, but we broke the high here. So breaking the high means of the previous weekly candle that we expect bullish continuation. And if you remember from last video, we're kind of stuck in this messy range. So you can see how clear that becomes on the daily here, right? So you can see on the daily how today we're basically, see if we can just fix this so I can zoom in a bit. So we basically rejected this support and is now heading up, right? So we're heading up towards this resistance. Now after that rejection, we could flip here and come back down and retest this daily support, but you know, we'll have to just see what happens on lower time frame because we're on in a range, so we can argue both sides. So 4 hour again, this is now becoming this zone here, and then 4 hour we can mark as this as a 4 hour resistance here, and the 1 hour you can see that this becomes a zone like this. 1 hour is looking quite nice and messy here, but it looks like it does want to continue up. Let's see what this looks like on the lower time frame. So the lower time frames here, we have this continuation. So I mean, we could right off the bat expect continuation up to this resistance here on the 30-minute. Why? Because we are closing above this zone here, right? So yeah, you know, I don't really like this zone up here, how we've had this rejection, but you know, looking at lower time frames, we're failing to break down here. You can see how this is closed nice and strongly bullish, but this trade based off the 1 hour, see, so the 1 hour is gonna close here in 30 minutes, but it's breaking above these highs, coming up to this rejection. So I could take a risky position here, lower the risk a little bit, and just based off this 30 minutes, because if we wanted a breakdown, I think this should have done it, because this otherwise would have been a fake out. Breaking the low should have given us continue to the bottom of the range, but just based off how this reaction, this is just a consolidation, so you should expect continuation into this here. So if we just risk 1,000 on this, make it a low risk, because it does make sense, this trade here. So 1,000 risk, and we wait for some sort of bottom wick to form here. You know, we slow it down and we wait for some bottom wick to form here, and we can take an entry on the flip, or I mean, breaking the highs would be even better here. Could expect for it to break this zone based on, you know, 4 hour breaking the high here. So you know, 4 hour does look good to break this zone, and I mean, this does look like a good setup. I mean, we could just take this off the 4 hour, to be honest. That's like a 9 pip stop for a 29 pip target. So this is something that I rarely do, actually, to be honest, is take a setup like this, and if we run, you know, stops below this 4-hour low, if we're wrong, we're wrong. And if we continue, because you see the trade is based off filling, you know, our first target, this 1 hour is breaking out of these wicks, right? So if this 1 hour can close outside of this range, it'll be doing what all of these candles could not do, which is close outside this range. Now if we come down to the 30 minutes already showing indications of upside here, right? So you can see how this candle looked like a really interesting candle here. To be honest, I would have, if I was at the charts, because we always start 1.5 hours before London session, if I was at the charts, just seeing this candle, I probably would have taken an entry here, but it would have made me aware of the zone we're trading in. And if you measure this zone here, it's nothing, right? So from this candle closure here, we're only looking at 7-8 pips with spread, and then, you know, your stops, you would have to run 10 pips or something. So risk to reward wise, it doesn't make sense. But looking at a 4-hour thought process of this long rejection here, creating support, price tried to break down here, failed, rejected support, and then again a post candle in Asian session. So this is like a pre-London Asian session, so late Asian session, it's hard to say that. And you can see how, but we're getting a rejection from this Asian session candle. Can't say it, not going to say it anymore. So from the previous 4-hour candle, we're getting a rejection here. So that rejection breaking the highs here and giving us an opportunity here on the lower, on the 30 minute. I probably will just take an entry here once I see a lower wick, and I'll run stops below the 4-hour low and look for it to continue up. So once this candle flips, we'll take a buy. Okay, so it's flipped. The TP is going to be, and this is all going to be based on 4 hours. So max TP is going to be up here at the top of the range. That's the easy. And then where's the 4-hour? So that's your TP on 4 hour. Move it a bit lower. And then your stops need to go below here. Wait, I want to increase the risk actually. So take a buy. Oops. We'll just pause this here. And I want to put 1,500 risk on this. I'm going to buy it here. Stops is going to go below the 4 hour and TP up here. So now we increase the risk here. And now we're triggered and we should see how this looks. So trade is based on 4 hour. I'm going to speed this up because this can take some time. So as long as we're not breaking the 4 hour low, I have no issues, but great push to begin with. But again, I expect some inconsistent price action in here. But again, I'm trusting this 4 hour will do the business, breaking the high here. Any rejection where I have this box here, this is the next issue I'm seeing at this point here. Because if you start to extend this, you can see how this has been an issue here. So probably at this point, I'll go to break even. And if we get hit at break even, we're at break even, right? So you can see now we're holding drawdown. But again, I'm not worried because it's a long way till we hit stop. So I'm going to speed this up because this is more of a long-term thought process here. So we'll watch it on 30 minute and we'll speed it up. Maybe even skip by 5-minute candles. So that's not a good sign here. But again, unless we're breaking down below this zone here. Oh, wow, that's that's a big push here. So so that's a pretty good push. That's like a 1-to-1 now at the moment. So I need it to close outside the zone. If it doesn't close outside the zone and this rejection here, I don't like this rejection at all. This is a big problem here, this rejection. So I have to make a decision here to go to break even or not. But I'm gonna watch the lower time frames here. I don't like that at all. But I'm gonna watch very carefully here on lower time frames to see how this 5-minute closes. So this is gonna be very, very crucial. So I like how this is going back up. If this 5-minute didn't close above this resistance, I would have gone to break even. If it taps me, it taps me. But I would wait, let the next 5-minute wick down, see if it flips. But for now, the thought process makes sense. Hopefully we can get a 30-minute closure or 15-minute closure above this resistance. So we'll speed it back up again because we are safe. So I think at this point here, we tap this minor resistance here. This is kind of the breakdown point. Our TP is quite far. Monetary wise, you know, if I'm not happy closing here because that's not the idea of the trade. But what I will do is I will go to break even. And we'll continue to let this play out. I don't expect it to happen in one candle. Again, this is based off the 4 hour. But 4 hour, again, tap that zone that I did mark. So if I see some sort of, you know, you expect reaction here. You expect reaction. But we want to see this candle close above, then maybe pull back. And we can start to skip some 5-minute candles and see what happens. So that's the pullback you expect, and there we go. So didn't tap us at break even. You know, I could look to close half, to be honest, because this is pretty good profit here. So we'll check on lower time frames what we're doing. And if we start breaking below candles, then we'll look to close. But for now, wow. Oof. That's great, man. That is great. That is great. So again, as I said, if we were starting to break below these lows, I'd look to close. But I'm going to slow this down here, and we're going to try close at a good point. We're going to try close. So we're running 2,600 profit here. That's a really great profit. So we're going to try close at a good point. Give us one quick push. Come on, come on, come on. 3,000. Give us 3,000. I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to be greedy. Maybe a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea. 1 minute time. Let's go in 1 minute. Be greedy. So what I'm also backtesting is seeing if we start breaking lows, then that's a good place to close, right? So if not, we'll try and maximize this move. If we're not breaking lows, we can try and maximize this move. So not breaking lows, maximize this move. And there's a move being maximized. Not breaking lows yet. Not breaking lows. It's going to hit our TP. Let it hit TP. Come on. Not breaking lows yet. If we break lows, we just close. So next one. I don't like that formation. If this wicks up, I'll just close. Come on, give me a top wick. Give me top wick. There we go, close. We close like that. So crazy trade, guys. Crazy trade. So again, okay. I think eventually it should hit my take profit, but I didn't like how I broke the lows here. And I didn't want to be too greedy, but I was really pushing it. But it would have hit TP. So that was actually a really, really interesting trade. And the 4 hour just gave it all. The 4 hour was the answer to that trade. And huge on our account, guys. That was a big trade, but heavy risk. If we lost that, we'd be in deep... No, I can't swear on YouTube, otherwise they'll block me. But you don't see that often. We barely get such a heavy move like this towards the upside. But again, we were taking it off 4 hour and we let it hit target basically. You know, closing at a bit of monetary, but that is good on our account. And yeah, that's a great start to the account. So we might be able to do it. I won't say in one more trade, but maybe two. This video might do it. This video might do it actually, you know. But if I don't take a loss next trade. But we're going to keep the same risk here. I don't want to risk any more because now I don't want to lose too much. I'm not going to risk 2K and then, you know, lose too much. So that being said, let's go into the next day. And that was quite a long trade. So we're here on the next day and we actually rejected perfectly that resistance that we drew out on the 4 hour. So that was pinpoint target, right? And that's how you make targets. But now this is becoming very difficult. We're at support. Daily close bearish. 4 hour is now showing huge rejection. So sells could make sense, but sells will only make sense to where? To this support here, right? But for buys, I'm really not liking because this target met. This was our target here. We bought up to this zone. Now the next target, monetary wise and pip wise, we're looking at probably, what is that? 15 pips. So yeah, 12 pips here. So not really worth it. Very messy zone. We're just going to play this at full speed. Like, I don't know, 79 ticks here. Just see what happens. But I'm not, probably non-trade day, to be honest. I mean, what is this range here? You know, if we close above here, we could look for upside 20 pips. That's not bad, to be honest, 20 pips. But not really giving us an entry. We need some sort of closure. So if we get a closure above here, I know sells look good as well, but I mean, this 4 hour resistance is just above here. So I don't want to buy into that resistance. Yeah, I'm not really keen on this, to be honest. I'd rather us pull back to the bottom of the range here and I start taking buys up. So as I said that, it happened. So keep doing it. Come on. So I'll need it to come to the bottom of the range here. I'll need to see some sort of support form. Maybe something like this, what we see over here, this type of thing. And then I can take buys to the top of the range here and hope to get continuation. So if not, if it just rejects here and breaks the highs and goes, then it is what it is. But we'll skip 5-minute candles to save time and we'll see what happens. So continuing down, now we close bullish here. So 5 minute is telling me. Alright, so close bearish again, continuation. Now we're doing some business here at the bottom of the range. What does our range look like? 8 pips, not worth it. Okay, this is now okay. Now we're coming into a zone that can interest me now. So closing back above this box here, I'm pretty interested, to be honest. And we didn't, and we broke down heavy. So breaking down here into London session, following the sell bias that I mentioned earlier, probably gonna come down and tap the support, but again, I'm not really too keen. Yes, it made sense, but I don't like selling into this support here. It just, I mean, we can have a look and see if we get some sort of lower resistance. If we're lucky to get a retest here, yeah, I'll take it. But without a retest, I'm not just gonna take... so here's a retest. If we close bearish here, 25, 30. We don't close bearish, we close bullish. So this might be a bobby. If you know. So here's this bearish. I like this setup here. What time is it? 5 minutes. So if 5 minutes we can just mess around in this area, we could actually look for sells. Okay, so 5 minutes we've messed around in this area here. We have a stop loss of 12 pips, a first target of 12 pips, and hopefully continuation. So at this point, I am going to take a sell. And I'm going to put my TP, based on 4 hour at this 4 hour support here. And I'm going to put my, stop loss above the highs here. And then, let's hope that this goes well. So slow it down and let's see what happens. See if we can flip and continue down bearish. I'm going to be very aggressive with this position now, just because of where we're trading at this support. So if I start seeing something I don't like, I'm going to actually close before it hits my stop loss because of the profit we made from last trade. So I'm just going to be very, 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 very cautious here at this point. We need to break this low. If we don't start breaking this low, we're in big trouble. Big trouble. So I'm gonna probably skip 1 minute candles here and we can see what ends up happening. So we almost broke the low. I don't like how it's respecting the low. See what it's doing on lower time frames here, respecting the low. We probably have to hold. So now it's broken the low. I like this. This is giving me more probability to continue to the downside here, but looks like we want to try some upside first. So this is not looking good at all, but we'll give it a chance. No candle close above yet. If this comes to break even, I'm going to close half. Okay, so we're at break even, and this is a trick I'm going to show you. So we're at break even here, and I'm actually going to close partial here. So we're lucky enough for it to come back to break even here. And I'm actually going to close, 50% here at break even, right? So I've closed 50% at break even. Why have I closed 50% at break even? Just based on how this has gone up and come back down and respecting these wicks, this is now the probability of this setup has become lower. Because if this was to continue down, I would have wanted to see it continue down even earlier. So instead of putting full risk on the table and this rejecting again and then I get stopped out, I can reduce some of that risk. But if it does go my way, I'm still taking some profit, right? So it's not as much as profit as I would have done, but the probability of this trade, and this is only a technique I use with high risk, right? Because we're risking a lot. We can easily damage our account very, very quickly. And in order to stop damaging our account very, very quickly, I want to reduce that risk. If I was trading my normal risk, maybe 2, 3%, 4% risk, I wouldn't care. I would let it hit full stop because that's what I intended to risk in the first place. But when we're high risking the account, we want to try to reduce losses as much as possible. So in that case, this is when I use this tool to try, once we come to break even, seeing something we don't want to see, right? Seeing this rejection, it looks good to continue down, but I don't like how this is a support. We haven't broke the lows, we haven't broke the highs, prices ranging. This can easily come back down, do what it did here, reject from these wicks and continue up. So just for exactly what I'm saying, right? So this is the whole point that I mentioned that. So we originally had on this trade open like a 17 lot, and now we only have like a 9 lot basically open. So again, we're going to skip some 1 minute candles and see if this trade actually plays out or not. So nice. So at least you see how you would have been holding drawdown worried, but now I'm not worried because risk is reduced. But you see how the probabilities of this trade has started to change. It's not really a high probable setup at this point, right? So 15-minute closed above here. This is not looking good with the long wick to the downside. I do expect this to hit stop, but remember, this is why we reduce risk in the beginning. If I hit stop, I'm only losing much less than I intended to lose. I'll probably just lose 1,000. So losing 1,000 when I risk 1,500, we're already saving on good amount of savings. But if this does reject this, we can still be in a profitable position, because Yes, it is very dangerous selling at daily support here. It's not a good idea, but my point is to try. I'm trying to hit this target down here. So the 1 hour high is respected here. Trying to hit this target down here, and this is the point. Any continuation is just happy day. So again, we're gonna skip. See if okay. So this is good. Getting rejection here. You see. We'll see what ends up happening. So we're back at break even at this point. Oh, nice. So now we're gonna probably just put this at break even, because now I'm not messing with this trade, right? So break even, and we're gonna go next bar and see if the profit is worth to close. If the profit's worth to close, we'll see what reaction we get at this point, then we'll close. So that's nice. I think we can get TP, to be honest. Yeah, I think TP is a pretty not too hard to ask, to be honest. So keep going next bar. I don't like that rejection. See how it closed. Boom, TP hit. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So yes, it was smaller risk, and you know, we didn't make as much as we wanted to, but you saw how I managed that trade, and I think that was very educational and still gave us the option to come out with a profit of probably like 1,000 or something. So very solid, very happy with that. Let's go to the next day. We're in the next day, and if only I left a bloody runner. If only I left a runner, this account challenge would have been done and we would have been at 10k. But unfortunately, you can see our prices have gone down, and I think probably if this is going to be a high aggressive day, because we have a very big candle here to fill, I won't be too, I mean, you have to be worried about this support here, because this, you can see reaction in the past, but breaking below the lows here, I've seen GJ do this. Once it makes a resolution candle like this, long top wick flipping, breaking the lows, GJ should just keep going. So any opportunities now, 4 hour breaking the lows, any opportunity I have to sell here, even if it's continuation, I'm not going to miss out on it, because I want to catch these sells, because GJ is now in a high volume time. So we have this support here we have to care about. So if we see anything closing below here, we're just going to take advantage. Even lower time frames we see, like this, breaking this 15-minute low here, I'm just going to press sell, and that's going to be my decision. Very impulse decision because of how the volume is. And I've noticed this with GJ. It's a 10 pip stop, and we're going to leave a runner run, man. A runner is going to run, because this can easily finish the challenge in this video. Easily. But only if we break these lows here. And or if I lose, I lose. But you know, it could be a good shot, to be honest. Speed this up a bit. Actually, we'll put a sell stop here. Sell stop. So we'll put a sell stop. Give a little bit of a gap here. TP, we're gonna have some big TP here. You know, 7k TP. And then stop loss gonna go above here. Well, that's not 7k anymore. It's 1.9k. But anyways, let's see where TP is gonna go. See where these clean. Wow. So that's max TP. That's 13k TP. All right. So let's see what ends up happening here. And may the pips be with us if we get triggered. If we break the high, I'm just going to delete this order, by the way. Oh, we're going to get in. Not in yet, not in yet, not in yet. Good. You see why you give it a little bit of gap? This is why you give a little bit of gap. This is why you give a little bit of gap, guys. Very important. But again, if this now breaks the low, I'll also want to still be in this position. Breaking this high here, I don't want to be in the position anymore. So we're in. All right, so we're triggered in here. Here we go. Will this finish the 10k challenge? We're very close, guys. We're very close. Will we finish 10k challenge? Are we going to do it in this video? Come on, GJ. Are we going to finish the 10k challenge? We finished the 10k challenge, guys. I actually didn't expect to finish it in this video, but this is I'm pretty happy about that. I'm pretty stoked, guys, and I'm just gonna close at that, because why not? But again, it continues, and that's your melt, right? I mean, easy. You get here a 65 pip move. So daily candles, very important. Whenever you see a zone like this on GJ, just take advantage. When you see heavy closure and you're pushing into a zone like this after consolidation, take advantage. 4 hour retest. And this is what I like. The 4 hour wasn't just straight continuation. We did get a pullback and then continuation. I like that pullback. Pullback gives more chance to sell. 1 hour, we were breaking below here, but again, as I said, as that 15-minute broke below. I mean, I don't understand. this is such a textbook move. You rarely get such a test. This is break and retest, guys. This is basically a break and retest, right? So we came up, failed to close above, and even you're getting the same setup here. Could have taken sells as this candle here gone. And look, this is probably going to retest somewhere around here and maybe even get to this wick here. And yeah, see, retest around there, and now it's continue up. So I'm very happy with that, guys. And yeah, we made the 10K challenge, and it was a bit lucky, to be honest, on the first position that we got with a win. Because if I got a loss in that first position, this would have not worked. But it's very possible to do a 10K challenge. But what I'm going to say to you guys is that it is not very possible in real life conditions. Why? Because your psychology is going to play a lot. I had no emotions trading this. I would just press buy, I would just press sell, and it was very simple. And with that, it made it very easy to be able to put heavy risk like this too. But if I took a loss, I wouldn't care. I would continue. I would have to unfortunately make a part number 4, which would have been really boring. But you know, we went heavy risk on this trade, and you know, we took, this was an interesting position here, but you know, you can see how managing closing half makes sense, right, at this point, because if it did hit stop, it did hit stop, but we would have taken less of a loss. So you know, this is why a lot of people would have just closed their trade here once they saw it close above, because they think it would continue up. But if you look 30-minute at that point, there was no indication of 30-minute closing above, right? Remember, wait for the higher time frame candles to close. There was nothing, there was no 30-minute closing above this support that we had established here, right? So there was no 30-minute closing above this. Did you see any 30-minute closing above this? No, it was respecting it. That's why in the beginning our stops were there. So we put our stop loss where we are wrong. So when we had the chance to manage the trade, we did, and then we left our stop loss where we are wrong. So I think we could have finished it in this challenge and this trade if I didn't close half. But again, taking advantage of GJ sells like this, I mean, it's lucky that that's how it played out. But in real life, you would have had a lot of different emotions, to be honest, right? And maybe if I saw this closing above here in real life, I would have maybe closed based on emotions of seeing real money going down. I would have said, oh no, this is high probability gonna tap me out, I'll just close. But since here I didn't really care, because it doesn't make a difference, and I was trying to push very aggressive, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, to get the wins and to push hard on the account, then that's why it was possible. Now, I wasn't expecting in this video, to be honest, and I'm quite pleased. And yeah, I think it's definitely it is possible. Now, we did it in basically a month here, if we look at the date. So we basically did it in only a couple of trades here. We took very few losses, but this is without emotion. My win rate on this was probably about 90% win rate. I think I took one break even, one loss, and the rest was all wins. But in real life, my win rate is not 90%. In real life, my win rate is around 75, 80%, right? And that's me being honest to you guys. So yeah, my win rate is always high on backtesting because emotions get out of it. But in real life, when there is emotions, I sometimes close early, or you sometimes don't take a position when you should have taken that position, and your win rate is going to drop quite quickly. So that's my point to you guys, that in real life that this is possible, but it's very difficult. But what I wanted to prove to you is that with high risk, you can grow your account quite fast. So I might make a real life series of this, maybe 1K to 5K, something a bit more achievable. You know, not 2K to 10K. That's a bit big. That takes a bit more time. But the only reason why I didn't make it is because I would have to record every single setup I take and edit it one by one every single day. In this video, I just sat here and I've just let the camera run and I'm letting it film. So yeah, that's why I'm not doing it in real life, because it will take time and I'll have to probably, I'll have to really try find some time and have some motivation to make it. So if you really want one in real life, I will do it to also show you, in case people think that this is not possible. And I don't encourage account flipping, but I just want to show you how you can use this to your advantage. But if you take my approach, where you're just doing a simple setup, 2 to 3% risk, taking these same setups I show here without all of this hype, and just taking it nice and easy, this can be a successful method of trading. Highly advise you guys to maybe consider looking at it. So with that being said, take care, trade sharp, And until next time, peace.